take projection.
Welcome everybody to Taking on Sports. I am TD. That is Greg. Greg, I'd ask how you're doing, but I think I know, bud.
Yeah, I mean, Cowboys just scored a touchdown, but yeah, no,
There you go.
overall,
Hey, yeah.
I'm trying to be positive. We still have a long season, but yeah, yesterday was just wild. I mean, I don't know what
I
a day
think
I
we're
never thought I'd see.
right.
That's what it.
Yeah. I think we're very lucky as Alabama fans that a bunch of other crazy shit happened, but
Yeah,
still,
yeah. I mean, it
uh,
does.
yeah, exactly. You nailed it. A day you never thought you'd see.
I mean, you can
Alabama
look at it,
losing to Vandy as number one Alabama.
Vandy,
We're not talking like our Alabama when we were in
and we didn't
college.
even, and we never
Uh,
had a close game against Vandy.
Not even then.
Never.
Yeah, no.
Not even then. And it's just
Uh,
the fact that, I mean, the last time before yesterday that we lost to Vandy, I was like 9 months old.
right. I was exactly
84, September 84.
September 40. Yeah, I was 4 months old. I
Yeah.
mean,
So,
it's it's.
I mean, and kudos to Vandy. I mean, they're much
mhm,
improved. I mean, Clark Lee, obviously, tough task. We know that. I mean, Vanderbilt's not a place that you expect to win. There's so much going against you, from just the academic standards that's different to the fact that even and people are trolling in what Nick Saban said, but it's true.
mhm.
They don't have a home field advantage.
No,
I
yeah,
mean, it was 80%
yeah,
Alabama yesterday.
no,
I
yeah,
mean,
that I've seen that, and look, yeah, I would troll them too. They got to troll them. That's
you got to
fine.
troll, but I mean,
But
they
let's
know
not
it's the
pretend that
truth.
let's not
They know
pretend that
it's
this
true.
was an intimidating environment that
No, it wasn't
a
Neyland
young team
Stadium.
got shook. Yeah, it
No, it wasn't
wasn't
Neyland.
Kyle
It wasn't
Field
not at
in
all.
2021. That
No,
then the crowd might have had something to do with that for a couple
right.
players, but this
Absolutely
was a
not.
plain. This was just an ass whooping. Vandy, like you say, give
Kicked
them all
our
the credit in the
ass.
world. Give that coaching staff. Give Diego Pavia all the
My
credit.
goodness.
Cedric Alexander, he had some tough running. Um,
The wide receiver,
Vandy deserves, I know you talk about Eli
he
Stowers,
he seemed to catch
tore us
every
up.
big third down pass.
hmm Yeah, they deserve all the credit in
every
the world
yeah.
for just manning up, beating Alabama's ass. That's what that was.
Yeah. There wasn't any
All right,
fluky
yeah,
thing about it.
nope, yeah, great. Congrats to them. It had to come sometime. It just sucks that it was against our team.
Right.
Uh, and especially a week after such a big win. All right, now we're done talking about Vanderbilt. Now let's talk about Alabama. I guess let's just get the offense out the way. Jalen Milroe again, just absolutely great. A Heisman
Yeah.
candidate. Another one interception that was another fluke.
Yeah.
Um, Ryan Williams just continues to be unreal. All the
That
receiver, the receiving core showed up, the running backs, maybe we'll talk, maybe they need to get more carries.
they have to get more carries.
Yeah,
Like
only
it's
11
another week.
carries between the two. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just not gonna
But
fly.
I'll
But
say that we also need to run more plays. We only ran 45 plays because Vanderbilt was on the field for what,
we couldn't get off the
42
field.
minutes?
Yeah, I mean for the limited time we were on the field, and I mean the points are there, the passing yards are there. I mean clearly the offense did enough to win the game yesterday.
Mhm.
There's some stuff that needs to be worked on clearly, and but yeah, I mean yesterday was not on the offense in any way at all. I
No,
mean
yeah, this is on
there
the
was
defense.
completely
Uh, we start with Kane Womack. Just no defensive adjustments. Like just
none.
nothing changed. And we talked about the first few weeks of the season about how we really liked how intense the defense looked. This
Seemed
swarm
like it.
defense, as they call it.
Yeah.
Then starting, with the second half against Georgia last week, these last 6 quarters have kind of, I don't
Yikes.
know, makes you question. Yeah, like no adjustments, and last week versus Georgia, you could also put a
I
little on
mean,
the
you get it.
offense for getting stale, and
Yeah, I mean,
they
you get
they
it. I mean, you
yeah.
take when you. It's natural when you get a huge lead like that
hmm
that you fall asleep a little bit. It
Against
happens.
Georgia, okay,
Yeah,
that's one thing. Against Georgia and Carson Beck,
but
uh,
this is Vanderbilt.
yeah, you got to get off the field. You got to, and that was something last week we saw too. These big fourth downs, third downs,
Right,
they're not making plays to get off the field. It
right.
seems like all the
At
plays
all.
they make are first and second down, which is great, but you got to finish the drive.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, you worry about that defense. No adjustments. It seemed like they ran that same read option or a read option with a little pass, in the flat open like an RPO.
yeah. It wasn't anything fancy. It was the same thing over and over
Mm-hmm.
and over again.
Yeah, and the
Like,
DL got bullied, could not handle it, just got pushed around.
wow.
Um,
Yeah, I don't
it,
know.
yeah,
And I mean,
it makes you
so
question the scheme now. That 4-2-5,
that's
is that what
one.
we should
Yeah.
be running? The swarm,
I
yeah, like
mean, I mean, excuse me. I mean, if you look at it schematically, it's not overly different than the nickel that Saban ran.
mhm.
But obviously, there's something way different
Yeah,
because
the
I
concepts are a
mean,
lot different. Yeah, like Nick
yeah,
obviously ran more man to man, and blitz
all right,
more, and then a lot of more movement and disguising of what they were actually doing. It's more complicated. This is more simplified, but
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
personnel wise, like
excuse me. I mean, it seems like
it's very
it
similar.
would.
Yeah, personnel wise
Yeah.
in the nickel. Uh,
I mean,
so,
it looks pretty similar, but obviously, it's a lot different. But
hmm
I mean, going into the season, players like, it gives us a lot more freedom. And, I thought, we saw some passion there the first couple of weeks. But, man, I mean, there was passion in that first half last week against Georgia. I mean, they got
hmm
after it. But I don't know what the last, I'll say 5.5 quarters have been absolutely ridiculous.
yeah,
Can't get off the field. Vanderbilt didn't do anything like amazingly. I mean, they didn't do anything crazy. They just ran the ball effectively. I mean, it's the same. You knew exactly what was going to happen.
hmm
I mean, I'm like, dude, Pavia is running the ball, or he's going to pitch it last second. And then I mean, that touchdown pass at the end of the third quarter. I mean, he smoked Malachi, and I mean, he's just wide open. It's like, my goodness,
yeah.
it was.
It was just embarrassing. It was probably, I mean, the most embarrassing loss in program history.
Yeah, I mean, maybe had some bigger losses as far as like the team name, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean, but this is top number one in Alabama against Vanderbilt. I mean, this
hmm
is supposed to happen.
No,
I
yeah,
mean,
they could have that little first quarter. They took the 13-0 lead on the touchdown and the pick six. And you're like, all right, well, hey, they
well,
started
damn,
hot. They're emotional, but you
right?
still figure like, yeah, we're still going to cover. Like,
I mean, we'll bounce back at some point, right?
yeah,
Never
and it
happened,
just never stopped. The offense, kept scoring once they actually could,
right?
get on the field. But again, Vanderbilt ran over 70 plays. We ran 45.
Right.
Defense has got to get off the field. Maybe,
Yeah.
again, with you questioning the offense, like maybe we need to run the backs more, slow things down sometime. Like, but also, is that how the DeBoer offense works? Like if they try to slow things down, do they become less effective?
Right.
Um, and
But
yeah, go ahead.
no, the one thing you look at though is you can say, oh, he doesn't use his running backs, but that's
hmm
not the case because last year at Washington,
hmm
that running back he had quite a few 1,000 yard, 100 yard games. Ran over 1,000 yards on the season. Touched the ball 15 plus times in most every game that of importance for that Washington team last year, and with
hmm
Dylan Johnson. But like, I don't know. It was just crazy the lack of running, and even Jalen Milrow, there was hardly
Running,
any
yeah, yeah.
even running plays for him. It's
It
like
felt like, yeah, it felt like they were desperate to chase points all game, and it felt like they always needed to score right away.
right,
And when in Allen, maybe they need to slow down, let the defense
just
rest a
relax
little
a little
bit.
bit,
But
relax a little bit.
that goes
And it
back.
felt like
That's yeah. Go ahead.
we got down 13, and they were just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they panicked but they got close. But it seemed like every time they got 23-21, then the 4th and 1 bomb. Right. It just
right,
always a play. And then when we did have a chance to take the lead, their defense steps up. That
yeah,
blindside
got the
hit on
big,
Jalen.
oh my
Yeah,
god,
and he feels terrible for, but what could he do there? That
he got
they made a
smoked.
play. Yeah, he got smoked. Blindside hit. They made a play. But you got to ask for more chances than that from the defense.
Yeah,
To get the
got to.
offense. Yeah.
I mean, in
And it
this,
makes
I
you worry
mean,
a little bit how this scheme's going to work in the SEC. Maybe now, we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah, we'll
Next
see.
weekend, South Carolina comes to town, and Lenore Sellers and that crew.
Yeah, because
Uh,
you would have to think Sellers. Like I know
mhm.
they had a tough loss. I mean, they got absolutely housed at home,
Yeah,
which I was shocked at how not that they lost, but how they lost. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean, but now they got to be looking at that like, oh wow, this Alabama defense can't stop a nosebleed. They have to
yeah.
feel good
And
coming into this game.
other well coached teams. Shane Beamer, good coach. Uh,
Yeah,
they're going to look at that tape on that defense, say, oh, like maybe we can easily exploit this defense. It makes you worry,
exactly.
and
Does.
uh, it's a problem, and we'll just see how they respond. But it just sucked to watch yesterday. Or
Oh my god! Like I'm like,
yeah,
and the worst thing about it is, I had no confidence that we were going to get off the field. Like
no,
it,
yeah, you,
and even in past years, we've had our issues in defense, with, as well.
mhm.
But at some point, I mean, we're gonna get a stop somewhere, and we didn't get that stop.
Yeah,
Even after the amazing Ryan Williams touchdown, I was like, it doesn't matter because we can't stop the nosebleeds. So this it was cool that we cut it again, but
hmm
we're not going to get another chance. We're not going to get off the field. There we didn't.
yeah,
So, oh my goodness.
yeah.
And I mean,
It's
kudos
just
to
shitty to
Vandy,
watch.
but
Yeah,
I mean, but at the same time, I mean, you realistically, I mean, this was a Vanderbilt team that lost to with Georgia State 2 weeks ago.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, like I said, most embarrassing loss in the program history because
Yeah.
this is just when you're number one. You knew there was a loss probably in this season in DeBoer's first season, but
But this is not
not
it.
to Vanderbilt. Yeah,
And
to last week to Georgia. If this has happened, you'd be like, okay, I get it. On the road at Tennessee in a few weeks.
yeah, I get
As
it.
much as it
I
sucks to
mean, it
say, you're like,
sucks,
I get it. Yeah, LSU
but
on the road, you get it.
yeah, it's a possibility. But man, but
Yeah,
yeah. Now he's about to learn really quick how quickly people will change on you. Because I mean, he was a toast of the
hmm
town after that Georgia game,
yeah,
and this week is going to be tough. Because it's one
hmm
thing. I mean, especially these newer Bama fans that weren't super fans before Saban.
hmm
They never experienced crazy. They never experienced this type of stuff.
uh-huh.
So
and
boy,
and you know what?
it's gonna be a
In
long week.
a long week, and I tell you what, in 2 weeks, oh
Mm,
man, like that's good. The pressure's going to be on Kane Womack and them
mm,
against that Tennessee offense and going up there in that stadium. And last time we were there,
mm.
didn't end well for us. Now does this become a more even rivalry now, or can we
Yeah,
get back that ownership of it?
exactly.
Uh, and now it means a lot. And we'll get to the Vols in a second, but uh, yeah, and then it just yeah, it's just not even on the
Uh,
field standpoint. I guess the last thing, maybe Malachi Moore. You saw his frustration at the end, and of course you don't condone what he did,
No, I
but
mean, I mean, like the only thing that I was pissed about him with, like, dude, don't push Pavia's head down. Like,
yeah,
don't do
don't do
that.
that. Yeah,
I
the
don't give a
kicking the
damn if
ball thing
you
was stupid
kick the
too,
ball
but
is what it
whatever.
is. That's not a big deal to me. And
You know what?
you
He
know
cares. He's
the
pissed off. He
ref
should be
thing,
pissed off. Yeah.
the ref thing, where he said
Oh,
throw the
yeah.
flag and threw the flag. I'm not mad about that. The only thing I'm mad about is Pavia. Don't do that to that man. He kicked your ass. Let- Don't take your frustration out on him.
Yeah.
And
If you're
there
gonna
should
take
have
it
been
out
more
on him, intercept him or strip him.
right.
Yeah.
Should have been more passion throughout the game. Now I like his passion. It seemed like he was the only guy who really showed passion. And maybe that's
Hmm.
another thing that I was mad about is Kane Womack, you're a defensive coordinator. Show some fucking passion on the sideline. Get in people's
Hmm.
faces. Yell. Like, I get it. You came from being a head coach, but now you're a defensive coordinator. Your thing is the defense. You're supposed to get in
Hmm.
folks' asses. Kirby as a calm head coach. He got in folks' asses as a defensive coordinator. Jeremy
Uh huh.
Pruitt got in people's asses.
Uh huh.
Like even if some of your play calling isn't going right,
Hmm.
there was a bunch of things that the players did wrong as well. Like you got to
Yeah.
have a passion that maybe ignites the players to a different level, and I didn't see that at all yesterday. He was just chilling on the sideline. I'm like, bro, what's going on? You're the defensive coordinator. Like you don't
Hmm.
have to be as calm and content as the head coach. Like I want to see some fire out of the defensive coordinator at all times. Like
Yeah. I'll tell you what. What yesterday does going forward in the season is a couple things. One, it kind of readjusts our expectations again. They were
mhm,
sky high after last week.
all right,
Um, all of a sudden people went from having kind of mid expectations before the season to like, oh shit, like we're going to be fine. We're going to go roll to
all
this
right,
national title game. Uh,
yeah,
and now it resets us back to maybe what we had
right,
before the season. It's like, oh right, there's an
right,
adjustment period. We don't know what
exactly,
we are yet.
right,
Um, but it also, man, does it ever put the spotlight on Womack and the defense now
mm,
in DeBoer, uh, in
yeah,
a sense that like, hey man, can you get your control your team? Like, how do you respond to a
yeah,
really bad loss,
right,
a loss that you do not want to have in your first season? But
no,
that
right,
said, we remember UL Monroe. Uh, and
yeah,
Nick Saban also lost to
right.
UAB, and it's different circumstances. We're not number one.
Right. That's the one thing that
Yeah.
I get the UL Monroe thing.
Hmm.
Yes, it was a bad loss in year one for Saban.
Hmm.
But let's not pretend that this is the same thing.
No, no, no.
Saban came into a terrible situation.
Hmm.
Yes, he probably shouldn't have lost that game, but it's not the same in the it's not the same stratosphere. I
No, yeah,
mean,
you're always going to have bad losses. All, or I should say, even the best of all time have bad losses early in their tenures.
yeah,
We mentioned UL Monroe. Saban again had the
yeah,
same thing. He lost to UAB at LSU early, and that
right,
was a bad loss. And then
yeah.
sometimes you just have to do that to weed
Yeah,
out
and I
culture.
know
But those,
Bear
it's
Bryant
still,
lost.
yeah,
Had some, everybody's running his losses of all the big time
yeah.
coaches, and we know,
Hmm.
Gene Stallings lost to what Southern
Gene,
Miss or something. Um,
Gene Stallings started his career 0-3,
yeah,
and then made it to the Fiesta Bowl that year, and then of course got
right.
swamped by Louisville. But I
But
think
I
actually,
mean,
but yeah, it really puts a spotlight on the defense
all
now,
right,
and then it really puts a spotlight on how Kalen DeBoer gets his team to respond emotionally,
mhm,
and with Malachi Moore, some people are calling for suspension. I don't think it's all that. He definitely does need to be punished internally,
yeah,
and
right. You
we
gotta
should
run, do
remember.
something.
Yeah, anybody calling for suspension should remember back, the Nick Saban tenure. Nick Saban preached how he believed in second chances, and
Yeah,
that things like this should be done from within the program.
right. Yeah,
Um, so we have to. This is where you just have to put your trust in the board, and
right,
you see how he handles that.
right.
But it's nice to see some spirit and a guy pissed off after a loss like that because and
Yeah,
he knows he was part of it too. It's not
yeah.
him taking it out and blaming the rest of his teammates. He knows he
No,
messed
he
up.
knows he messed up and had some,
Yeah. Mhm.
but yeah, I mean it. You know what? Once again, I mean, the biggest thing is just we, you know, the board. You know, he wins everywhere he goes. But this is on a different spotlight, a different level. Hey, you know, he's gonna figure out that out more so than ever this week. I'm sure he's well aware. But you know, even in Washington, I mean, there's not near the spotlight, not near the
No.
and so man, he's gonna everything that he heard about the Alabama fan base from the negative side. He'll
Here it
see
comes.
more.
Here
Here
it
it comes.
comes.
This is your year one, and you know there's
Yeah.
gonna be some crazy folks that fire him. But that's the dumbest thing ever.
Oh
But
yeah. I mean, it's already started. Feinbaum said something wild. I already forgot what he said. Who cares? But
I mean, Paul's there for ratings. He knows what's gonna get
yeah.
the people
Yeah.
going. So.
Paul knows what he's doing.
Paul's been a shock jock his whole career. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what he's lived on. I mean, he's lived up the ebbs and flows of Alabama football is what Paul's lived off of. So of
hmm
course he's gonna,
Yeah.
and the loss does nothing more than help him help his ratings and numbers. I
Exactly.
mean,
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean,
Um.
this man was literally who got the most fired.
well, in some other things.
Right, right. But I'm saying he was. I mean, he
Yeah.
was
He,
all over that man. So I mean, this is nothing to do
yeah.
for Paul. I mean,
Mhm.
if anybody is familiar with the Paul Feinbaum show, I mean, you know
Yeah.
exactly what he's doing. Like
I
he's
know for
getting the
sure.
people gassed.
But
But
yeah. Again, it was just a shitty thing to watch.
just the
And
wildest
it is the most
passion.
embarrassing. It's not the people that are the overreactors, the fire. Oh, everything's crumbling now. This is terrible. Like go back to the Pac-12. That kind of shit. Look,
Dumb.
this ain't. We've been darker. We know. Me and Greg
Much
know.
dark. We've
We've
been
seen us
much
lose to
darker.
NIU, and we've been there for 4th and 19, and
Jeez.
Trey Smith, and you
Trey
know
Smith. I
uh,
mean,
a third
who?
string white boy
Yeah.
running back running all over us in the Iron Bowl, a team that we
Oh,
should have beat the hell out of.
yeah,
That
absolutely
was
should beat the hell out of him.
yeah,
Of course, we found out plenty of reasons later, but still, at
yeah,
that time, we're like, "What the fuck is going on?
yeah.
What in the world?
Uh,
This is ridiculous." Like, yeah,
but just
and we
yeah,
gotta, but we gotta, we gotta chill. But at the same time, man, this is this is a we're the a worrisome spot. Because I always said October is gonna be an interesting month, but I didn't think this was
hmm
gonna be the interesting part of the month. I thought
no,
the
yeah,
Tennessee game, maybe the Missouri game, but man, we got started much earlier than the month than I expected.
yeah. Uh, yeah. So we South Carolina comes to town next week.
Who knows? Who knows at this point?
Yeah, we see exactly, and this is just now we see now we look. Um, that's all we can do. Hopefully, put this bullshit way behind us and go
Yeah,
out and win a bunch more games, win some big games, and
we'll laugh
this will be
about it
something that
later.
we laugh at. Yeah, so this will be something we laugh about, and you'll be like, good for Vandy, whatever.
Yeah,
Like I said, good for them. We just wish it wasn't against us.
right.
And Alabama deserves every troll job, uh,
Yeah,
everybody
absolutely,
laughing at them this week.
absolutely. We knew. I mean, it comes with the territory, and hey,
Mhm.
we're the joke of the week.
Yeah. However, Alabama was not alone in having a bad week. It was a like
Around,
shutdown full cast call. It was a blood week, and it was
especially in the SEC, it was a weird
yeah,
week
it
in the
was one we
SEC.
always talk about it. One of those weeks that are just the most boring looking. The one you're like, ho hum, not much will happen. Those are the ones that end up being not all
The
the time, but
wildest,
those are the ones that end up being the
often.
wildest. Yeah, and this Saturday gave off weird like 2007 vibes almost. Like
Yeah.
it just makes you wonder, like, oh man, like what else is in store
Where
for the
are we
season,
headed?
or things just going to get real boring. And this was just it, but we mentioned the Vols earlier. Play them in 2 weeks. They went into Arkansas, and
Hmm.
although the Razorbacks tried their damnedest to give that game to Tennessee, they pulled it out in the end. and number 4 Tennessee goes down in Fayetteville.
Man,
Uh,
just
congrats, yeah, good for
that
Arkansas
defensive
finally getting one of
performance.
these. Yeah,
Yeah, that defensive performance, I was stunned.
but man,
They
did
definitely did everything they could to
they
let
sweated
Tennessee
it?
get that win.
First drive of the game. What is it, like 15 plays? Something crazy. Go down
Yeah,
there, first and goal from the 3, settle for a field goal.
I mean we and they
And then
didn't score for the rest
then
of the
they had an
half.
and then then they had uh went for it on fourth down, didn't get it. Went for it on fourth down, didn't get it. Missed field goal. That is how the Arkansas first half went, and it was just like, oh my god, like this team could be up 28-0 right now.
And they're up 3-0 going into half.
Yeah, yeah. Which again, like you said, give that defense some cold beers, man.
They were amazing.
They earned it.
Yeah. Because for the first time, Nico looked like a freshman. he looked
Exactly. Yeah,
he looked out of sorts all game. He didn't know what was
yeah.
coming. He that Fayetteville may not be the biggest stadium, but when it gets going, they're a
Mhm.
great crowd,
Yeah. Oh
and they
yeah.
were
Yeah.
rocking.
They love their football, and they stormed the field. Oh, you hope Arkansas's quarterback Green is okay. That nasty hit he
Yeah.
took late on the knees.
And that was the other thing too, the fact that they were still able to score a touchdown after he goes out the game. That was
Yeah.
impressive because I was like,
Mhm.
man, that definitely did it.
Yeah, that had
They,
the vibe of one of those things where you're like, ah, shit, here it goes. Like
yeah,
they're gonna 3 and out the rest of the game or some
hmm
shit. Yeah,
yeah. Settle for
but
the field goal, lose.
yeah,
Yeah,
nope. They did it. They got the win. Good for Arkansas. They improved to 4-2. Tennessee drops, and it made a. I think we messaged each other last night, and
and that kind of
it
made the
made us
day a
feel
little
just a
more.
little bit better. Yeah, a little
Yeah,
solace for Bama fans. They're like, okay,
mhm,
good. We'll see you in
yeah,
2 weeks, and then we'll see
yeah.
how
We'll
who
go
feels shitty
see
after
how that
that.
goes. Right.
But
But the Tennessee looks somewhat for as many points that they put up for and as high flying as they've been, they look pretty. I mean, they looked pretty mortal last night. I mean, there was a.
mhm.
I mean, they and I was even at the end of the game. I mean, they're just going up the field and they got stalled out at the. And I couldn't believe Nico didn't even get a pass off
Oh,
on
that
that
was great.
last play.
I saw someone tweet. It was the first time he looked like a freshman.
Yeah,
Like
he was
that
rattled.
specific play was like, what the? Oh man, you got to just chuck it. Just chuck it. Uh,
See what happens.
yeah.
Oh yeah, but man, yeah, kudos
And
to them. And
then
I would have to say,
Woo Pixu. Yeah.
Sam Pittman is officially. I don't care what he does the rest of the season. That man is off the hot seat
Off the
because
hot seat. Yeah, off the hot seat, unless he just loses by 60 the rest of the season.
yeah, because I mean, honestly, this Arkansas team could very well be undefeated right now. I mean, they
Hmm.
should have definitely been Oklahoma State. Was in the game with the Aggies last week. I mean, they could very well be 6-0.
Yeah, and yeah, and it kind of makes you look. It's like, okay, what can this Arkansas team be? I mentioned it's
Yeah,
like we've seen them play these games so many times over the years, and they just never get it. They never get it.
never get the
And
win.
yeah, they finally got one. Sam Pittman got one.
Yeah,
Uh, when you look at the rest of their schedule, they get a bye next week. They host LSU. Uh, they go to
and that's been
Mississippi
a.
State. That's not a hard one.
Mhm.
They host
Yeah.
Ole Miss. Another
Who
bye.
knows?
They host Texas. Well, that probably not. But hey, at least you get them in your house. Who knows?
Right. And we,
Look what happened yesterday. You never
yeah,
know. Uh,
you never know. Yeah. And you know it is, if the LS, we've seen some wild things happen in LSU, Arkansas over the years. And we've
mhm.
definitely seen some wild things happen in LSU and Ole Miss over the years.
Yeah.
So who
Mhm.
knows?
And more importantly, they get all these big games at home, man.
At home. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And
yeah,
they're,
they only have 2 road games the rest of the way. They go to Starkville and then they go to Missouri to end the season. And speaking of
mm,
Missouri,
mm,
they also did not have a good day yesterday. They went to Kyle Field and got
wow. Toronto.
murdered.
Wow.
What was the final score? 41-10.
Mm.
And it was
It
over
was
long
over.
before. Yeah, it was over in
Yeah.
the first
There was
half.
no comeback. No comeback. effort.
Yeah, just
No.
A&M, all facets of the game, just whoop their ass. And maybe it's kind of been coming for Missouri because they couple of troublesome losses or wins in the past couple of weeks. You know, struggled with
Yeah.
Boston College, struggled with Vanderbilt. You know,
Yeah. They that should have been Vanderbilt's big win.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wish they had gotten it last week.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Well,
but
yeah, but I mean, I thought, I wasn't sold on A&M per se. I thought, still thought, well, Missouri still has some talent. I mean, yes, it's Kyle Field, but I mean, the Aggies lose games there. It's a great atmosphere, but they've lost some games there.
yeah, yeah,
And they've had some up and, I mean, they've been, but yeah, they took it to a different level. And now
mm,
that they won that game and then the fashion that they did, and, you know, you look at their schedule, and it's a favorsome schedule for the Aggies going forward. I mean, they get LSU at home, and
mm-hmm,
they've LSU struggled at Kyle Field. Um, they get Texas at the end of the year at home. That game in itself is going to be bananas, but I mean the Aggies after that, for as much as that week one loss sucked for them against Notre Dame, I mean they're very much
mm-hmm.
alive and well.
Yeah, yeah, good one for Texas A&M. Puts them back on the map.
Hmm.
Number 10, Michigan also
Mm,
had a bad day. They
mm,
went to Seattle or Spokane, whatever,
mhm.
and oh, that whole not being able to pass thing might be a problem.
Yeah.
Uh, Washington, good win for them. You know, they've kind of been this year post Kalen DeBoer, and
Mhm. Yeah.
that's a big
You know,
win.
they had lost
Uh,
the Apple Cup and lost Rutgers,
hmm
and
yeah,
never out of games, but you never really saw anything that said, they'll be all right. And honestly, I thought Michigan was going to win that game. I was pretty convinced.
hmm
That Michigan can't pass worth a damn, but they've got looked better since that Texas game. At least running the ball, the defense has been stout, and man, yeah, yeah. That, that road was a little too tough for him.
yeah. Good win for Washington, a conference win,
Hmm.
which just ugh, I hate to say that. Um, and speaking of new members of the Big Ten, number 11 USC also had a bad week,
Mm.
and
Had a
they
very
lost
bad one.
though. Yeah,
Yeah.
very bad week. They went to Minnesota and lost,
Mm.
and just did not
But
look good at all. Um,
got out to 14-0, and
yeah,
that was it.
yeah, I was just the
Because, yeah, this is a Minnesota team that has not looked good all season.
no, they have not, and for 0-2 start to their Big Ten season, and now that's 1-2 start for USC's Big Ten season.
Yeah.
Not looking great.
No.
Um, Lincoln Riley, kind of they continue. They just can't score this year. Uh,
Shockingly. You
yeah,
thought that would be
shockingly.
their one thing that they could do. Yeah, I mean, the offenses look pretty meh ever since that LSU game.
Yeah, um, they looked real good running the ball then, and now they just can't seem to. They do not look like a Lincoln Riley offense. Defense,
No.
for all the defense has improved, the offense
Yeah.
now can't. Um,
And yeah,
can't.
the
Yeah, can't.
score for as great as as an offensive mind, as a celebrated an offensive guy he is, to put up a 17 against this Minnesota team is not a good look at all. I mean,
No.
I will put up 31 on this team
Yeah.
just for so we can compare.
Yeah. Exactly. Not a
Well,
good.
no.
Not good us. But another team that had a bad day was number 22 Louisville. They lost to another team who actually had a big win in the new conference, kind of like
Hmm.
Washington. SMU improves to 2-0 in the ACC.
Yeah.
Uh, Pretty good game. Uh,
It was a
back
fun
and
one.
forth. Yeah, fun one. SMU gets the win and a tough place to play. Louisville's pretty tough at home.
They are.
Uh,
And
but
that's a
SMU,
huge,
like you
huge
said,
win.
yeah,
That's a
you
huge
kind
win
of,
for the.
yeah, you've been on their train since our prediction episodes and stuff. So SMU kind of starting to look real good. Five
Yeah.
and one, 2-0 in the ACC. Um,
And then we look back and originally that week 3 loss against BYU at the time, oh, it kind of dicey, but
mhm,
now
mhm,
we looking at BYU and maybe that end up not looking like such a bad loss. But since then, I mean, they've been rolling. I mean, put 66 on TCU, 42 on Florida State.
mhm,
Go on the
mhm,
road, put up 34 against a decent Louisville team. And you
mhm.
got to think about it though. Coming into this season, I mean, they hadn't been in the Power 4 or 5 conference since the SWC. Before this season, their last win against a Power 5 team was like Washington State in 2010. That just shows
Ooh,
you, how big of a jump this really is for the SMU.
yeah. Yeah, and they're owing up to it. And, I said it so many times in the past. Just the Big 12 really missed the ball. In the 2010s when
Hmm,
realignment was kind of starting to pick up
yeah,
by not grabbing SMU. I think
yeah,
they really wanted to get
yeah.
back into the game for a while now, and they got the money to do it. And that could be a good addition. They're not
No,
a
I
blue
mean,
blood by any mean, but they're
no,
a
they're not.
name that you could
They're a name.
revive.
I
And
mean, people know. I mean, and the money that they got thrown into this program since they've joined the ACC. I mean, that's the biggest thing is you have to get people excited. I mean, be it at the American and being in all those other little conferences they've been part of, and
hmm
Conference USA. I mean, it's only going to get you so much excitement. But they raised over, just and this is the they're not going to get any ACC money for 9 years as far as any
yeah,
extra
whatever
stuff.
weird contract.
But
Yeah.
they were, I mean, the money at SMU was so excited that they raised over $130 million upon announcement that
hmm
they were joining the ACC. So I mean, that shows you that when there's excitement, the backing is definitely there. If you
Yeah.
give the
Yeah.
people a reason to want to be there, they're gonna because it's. I mean, it's a reason why people call it SMU Southern Money University because there's plenty of money. I mean,
uh,
so the money's there. And then looking at the rest of the schedule, I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, they beat Louisville on the road. I mean, they go to Stanford. I mean, you worry about it because it's a long trip out west in 2 weeks. They have a bye week. But I mean, then they play Duke on the road. Big game against Pitt at home, though. I mean, Pitt's a heck of a story so far, 5-0 on this season. But
hmm
and then they end the season at home against Boston College, on the road against Virginia, and then close out the season at home against Cal. I mean, some tough games, but I mean, this could very well be a 10-2, 11-1 type of SMU team if things keep going their way.
No, yeah, that is a schedule that you can look at them and say that yeah, they could run that.
Yeah, I mean, they might. I mean, they're gonna have some tough games. I mean, Pitt is definitely gonna be a tough game. I mean, Eli Holstein and what he's done there is transfer from Alabama. I mean,
He
they're
looks
looking
great. Yeah,
good.
he's been a revelation for them,
Um,
man.
I mean, it's some tough games, but I mean, you look at it too. I mean, they don't have a loss in the ACC yet, so they're very much alive in that ACC conversation.
Yeah,
So
don't have to play Clemson. Don't
yeah,
play
don't have to
Virginia
play
Tech.
no Miami.
No Miami. Yeah. Um. Yeah. We'll get to Miami
So
in a
who knows?
second too. But one
Yeah.
more top 25 team that didn't have a good day or didn't have a good Friday night at least.
Mm,
UNLV. Fresh
wow.
off all that stuff we talked about them last week. NIL, the quarterback dropping out, then moving right on, looking great,
Yeah.
getting a top 25, a lot of excitement. Lose to Syracuse at home in
Uh,
overtime, and honestly, kind of
you
got
hate to see
screwed.
it. Yeah.
That roughing the passer call was it was horseshit. It was
Yeah.
terrible refereeing, man.
Yeah, you hate to see it because I mean it was a great it was a great story. I mean, the
Hmm.
fact that they've reached heights that have never really been reached at UNLV.
Hmm.
I mean, but you know, went to overtime, and man, you would have loved to have seen them because they got out to the big early lead there, but Syracuse fought back.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No, yeah,
you hate to
Syracuse
see it.
rallied to get back, forced overtime, and then, uh, like I said, there was a very controversial roughing the passer
Yeah,
call that
yeah,
Syracuse benefited from, and you just hate to see those kind of calls.
change the game.
Yeah.
But this Syracuse team, I mean, that was a weird loss to Stanford at home.
Hmm.
But overall, I mean, they're rolling compared to what they've been the last couple of years. I mean, the Fran Brown, excuse me, came from Georgia, and we're like, that's kind of a weird place to go. But I mean,
Hmm.
I mean, the fact that as we see, as they say, another man's one man's garbage is another man's treasure. I mean, obviously, Kyle McCord didn't play his best at Ohio State, and I would like, left a lot on the board there. But I mean, since he's come to Syracuse, I mean, he's lighting it up. I mean,
No, yeah.
it's
You said before you're surprised teams like Auburn didn't go after him the way he's playing.
yeah,
You know, there's obviously talent there.
yeah. I mean, he didn't get to Ohio. You don't get. Um, I mean, Ohio State doesn't offer you a scholarship if you don't have talent. So obviously the
Yeah,
talent was
exactly.
there.
Yeah,
I mean, it didn't live up to the expectation, and I mean, he never really made any mistakes. It just wasn't electrifying.
yeah, um,
I mean, but you
yeah.
look at it too. I mean, look at the quarterbacks who were right before him. I mean, Justin Fields. I mean,
Hmm.
I mean,
Dwayne
guys that were
Haskins,
just yeah,
C.J. Stroud. Yeah,
yeah, just so top electrifying guys. So he didn't live up to maybe the hype, but maybe they didn't put him in the right spot because he's balling in Syracuse.
yeah, yeah. Good for him. And
Yeah,
good to see Syracuse. We mentioned, I think we talked last
yeah,
week about they're one of the teams that never hosted game
yeah.
day. I
Never
mean, they
hosted
used
game
to
day.
be a big
Yeah,
thing back in the late
yeah,
'90s, early 2000s.
exactly,
And good to see them winning games again.
absolutely.
So that is, 7 top 25 teams that lost.
Mm.
I think I think the record is 10 in 2018. Maybe there was one day, but I think a few
Mm.
of them were to other top 25 teams.
Mhm.
Um, and only one lost to a top 25 team, and uh, and Missouri and A&M, and the rest were just kind of really shocking. The SMU over Louisville, not a shocker.
Yeah,
Um, the rest of them, though, really surprising, and obviously the Bama won, the biggest surprise of all. But just one of those Saturdays, we mentioned a crazy one, and even
yeah, it was.
other teams that won didn't look great. Ohio State definitely looked the best on the day.
Yeah, I mean they
Uh,
handled
Easy cruise
Iowa.
to win over Iowa.
Yeah,
Yeah, Georgia's real sluggish going against Auburn.
yeah.
14-3 at
Was
half, but
it?
they didn't even score that 14 till real like last
Yeah, I
minute.
mean it wasn't. It wasn't anything like I thought it was gonna be. I mean Auburn
Yeah, I
definitely
thought they were
held
going
their
to
own.
murder them.
I
Yeah,
thought they were gonna, yeah,
I thought it was going to.
because
Honestly, I did thought it was going to be Orange Bowl levels of
yeah,
beat down. Auburn had been struggling that much. Georgia was pissed off, but also playing really well. Played really well in that second half.
right.
So you thought that they would come out and
They were
kill.
just
They
gonna.
look sluggish,
They
but they got the
they
win. What
did.
is
They
that,
got
eight
the one.
straight against Auburn now?
Yeah.
Um, Penn State also kind of sluggish. Only 27-11 over
Yeah.
UCLA, a team that just UCLA is not a
It's
good team.
terrible.
And if
No.
Penn State, we're supposed to take them real seriously. Like they should be blowing them out.
Yeah. They should have blown
Um,
them out. Yeah.
so one that was almost counted, and one when I
Ooh.
fell asleep, uh, was looked like it was going to be the eighth top 25 team to lose. Miami though,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an
Ken
old
Warren.
man. That 10:30 start rough or 9:30 start
Mhm.
is rough. That's
Yeah.
a that's a rough that's a rough start.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah, I
was,
mean,
planning to stay up for it, on vacation with the family, and I'm,
right,
with my wife's family, and I'm always the last one up with that group,
yeah.
usually. And
I mean,
I
Cal
started
was
watching
rolling.
it. Yeah, and I was just laying on the couch, and Cal was rolling, and I had like kind of dozed off once or twice. I was like, and I'm just gonna go to bed. Like this is, I think it was like 38-18 when I
Yeah,
called it. I think I was like, all right. Um,
and then
and then Miami
Cam
storms
Ward.
back. Another kind of controversial call. I don't think it's as egregious, but they,
It wasn't near
a
as
no
egregious as
call.
last
Yeah,
week.
yeah. The no
Now,
call on the
yeah, on the
offensive lineman downfield. He definitely looked downfield, but there are some people
yeah,
chiming. If you're engaged with a block, then it doesn't. That doesn't count.
right. And I know
Um.
people were pissed off about the targeting,
Oh yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
reversal. People were really pissed off about that. But I'll say this: it wasn't any different than the Kobe Prentice hit, and no one was upset
No.
about that. So
Yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
I wasn't mad about it. It seemed like he led with his shoulder. I mean, you see where it could have been targeting, but hey,
Hmm.
I mean, at that point, dude, y'all giving up a 20-point lead at home. Like
Hmm.
that's just one part of it. There was many other chances for you guys to beat Miami than that.
Yeah.
But
Um.
when the game's on the line, Cam Ward, man,
He is
wow.
absolutely winning the transfer portal MVP award.
Uh,
Um. Absolutely the best pickup. And oh, I just,
Wow.
I just saw what you
Son of
dropped
a
that little.
gun.
Oh man. Uh,
Oh,
I was like, oh, what happens
the,
here? I guess you're just a second
the,
ahead of me there.
yeah.
Cowboys. As we're
Oh,
recording this right now, it is 30 seconds left in the game.
yeah.
Cowboys down 4 at Pittsburgh on the Sunday Night
Yeah.
Football.
And fumbled
Um,
after
yeah,
two.
yeah.
Very Dallas
So
like. Mm,
once by the time you listen to this, you'll know what happens. But
yeah.
that's where we are right now
So
as we
that's where we're at
record.
right now. Because
Um,
the game was
but
an
yeah,
hour and a
Camp.
half late to
Yeah, it
start.
was a rain delay. I was on the road getting back from
Yeah.
vacation. Yeah, the a rain
Yeah.
storm. I
Didn't
guess.
start till
Yeah.
8:45.
Oof. Oh man.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, Miami survives. Cam Ward again, just looking like a Heisman
But
guy.
they're living on a dangerous. They're living
They
on a
are.
dangerous.
They're, but they're
Goodness,
winning though,
they're
and
winning.
these are the games. These are the
Yeah.
games in the past that these Miami teams have been losing.
Yeah.
So
But
now,
nothing. But nothing is funnier
Mhm.
than if you've seen. Wow. Than Michael Irvin on the sideline. It's a show in itself.
Man,
Oh my
on his
goodness! I
knees
mean,
like a damn. Yeah,
I mean,
crazy.
it was great against Von Tech, but he went extra. He was laid out on the on the
Mhm.
sideline. Just
Yeah, that
man,
man's
it's
crazy.
a show in itself. But
But
man,
Miami gets a bye to calm down after that
yeah,
one, but they'll go to Louisville after
hmm
the bye. So
I mean, yeah,
yeah,
that's
crazy. Good for them. Cam Ward just look
yeah,
again. We talked about it, and speaking of Heisman guys, they all kind of Travis Hunter was off this week, right? I don't think Colorado
right.
played,
No,
but
Colorado didn't play.
Jalen Milroe, like we said, looked great. He had the fumble again. That was a blindside hit. That's kind of hard. No, can't really blame him for that. His interception was fluky. Other than that, he
Yeah,
looked good. The
he
offense
looked
just
good.
didn't get a lot of chances.
No,
Um,
he threw for over 300 yards. I mean,
yeah,
had the
exactly. Yeah.
touchdown. I mean,
Um,
did what he needed to do. Um,
yeah. You felt like you mentioned, we didn't really feel like we were going to get the ball back at the end there, that the defense was
no,
going to make that stop. But I
yeah,
did feel like if we did get the ball back, I was like, we're going to win.
we're gonna
Uh,
score. If we had
yeah.
got that opportunity, absolutely. There's no,
Yeah.
they didn't stop us per se, other than
No.
that big hit.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Um,
was a unstop, but that's all they needed because, yeah,
mhm. But speaking, again, Heisman guys, we mentioned Jalen Milroe, obviously Cam Ward, Travis Hunter the week
hmm
off. Ashton Jeanty, man,
my goodness,
good. Over 1,000 yards already. They've only played
5 games
5 games. Uh,
so far ahead of Barry Sanders
oh
as
yeah,
far
and he's
comparing those two. And that
Um,
crazy Heisman year he had. But
yeah, he looks well on his way to 2,000 yards.
my goodness.
And he's making it look easy, and he's not really doing it. I mean, he's had a couple games where he's had, just been, workhorse numbers.
But yeah, no, it's not. He's just
But he
back
had 13 carries last night, and they put up
right
a buck 83,
and 3 touchdowns, right?
86. Yeah, and 3 touchdowns, including another long one, 75 yards. This man is
He
just,
is amazing.
yeah. Right now, I mean, I'd give him the Heisman,
There
as
we
much as I
go.
want my boy. Uh, oh,
Yes,
touchdown Cowboys. Who was that? Who
that
was
one's
that?
Hobart.
Okay.
Yes,
Good throw.
sir.
Good.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
That was great. Job by the line. Man, what a drive. Uh, good job by the line. Good job by Dak. That's huge. Good
Man,
job. I'm rooting for the boys tonight. Beat those damn
I bet.
Steelers.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, Ashton GT, man. Good lord, man.
That's
I love it. I
ridiculous.
love it. It is Boise State it's like they're back to
Yeah.
late 2000s,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
uh, I love it.
Definitely on the. And man, yeah, man, you have to think if he continues on that pace,
Oh,
he
he's
he
what's
has
the
to
let's
be
see.
he has to be in New York. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. If that man, unless God forbid something happens to him, he gets injured,
yeah.
uh, he'd have to. You just don't see any defense slowing him down.
No, because I mean
Um,
he ran all over Oregon, and at that time we're like, man, what's wrong with Oregon? It's not that. He's just
no,
Boise State is just really that team right now, right
yeah,
there.
he is that dude. Like you said,
Yeah,
Barry Sanders has the record, 2,628 yards.
and
Um,
right now he's a little bit ahead of where he was at.
in pace, yeah, he I think already
So
ranks. Um, I don't know if he's not quite top 100 yet, obviously, but he's to break into the top 100 single season rushing, he'd have to get to 1765. If he keeps his pace doing that, he'll do that in 4 games.
yeah, but to be over 1,000 yards after 5 games is
Mhm.
just wild.
But you could join a rare club. Only 7
Yes.
members of the 2,000 yard club in college.
Hmm.
Barry Sanders, obviously mentioned that. Melvin Gordon, Kevin Smith at UCF, if you remember that from the late
Yeah.
2000s. Marcus Allen at USC, Rashad Penny, King Henry, Derrick Henry, of course, and Jonathan Taylor. Um,
Hmm.
and I missed a couple there. Actually, there are. Oh, I missed a lot. I was reading something wrong. I see. There are 29 members of the 2,000 yard
When
club.
but still, I mean, you got to think that's
Jonathan
still a
Taylor's a
very
two-time member.
two-time member. I mean, that's
Yeah.
crazy. But I mean, you got to think though, 29 times out of all the running backs that have been in college
Hmm.
football,
Yeah.
that's still a pretty elite club. I mean,
Yeah.
considering how long college football's been
Yeah.
around, all the great backs, and the fact that for the longest it was a running game, there wasn't been much passing going on.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, speaking of those first names, that was the top 6, obviously, or top 7.
Mhm.
If I finish it, Troy Davis at Iowa State,
Yeah, it's some
Andre
crazy years in
Williams at
there.
Boston College, yeah, and then Ladanian at TCU.
Yeah,
That's your top 10. To break into that, GT needs 20 to be Ladanian's number of 2,158. Uh, to do that, again, at the current pace, he just needs 5 more games. And
yeah,
uh,
and I don't see anything stopping him.
no, like we said, he's not playing, world beater defenses there in the
No,
MAC. There's some good ones, some solid, or
yeah,
the Mountain West, the MAC.
yeah,
But
but
they go
yeah,
to Hawaii next. Hawaii's not really. You could probably
no,
run on them. They do play UNLV, so that'll be a fun one in a couple weeks.
yeah, that'll be
But
that'll be a
these
huge game for
defenses,
both teams as far as the playoff for that.
absolutely, yeah. And Boise State uh, really looking like
Yeah,
they got a chance to be that team and get back to that
absolutely,
spot in the playoff like they deserved long ago. Um,
exactly. But
but
yeah,
let's see. Anything else from college that you wanted to touch on?
I think we, you know, gotta just the craziness again of the Big 12. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
did
mean,
not see
just the
that. I had
fact
West
that
Virginia beating the hell out of Oklahoma State in Stillwater.
beat the mess out of them there. I mean, Oklahoma State's clearly having issues, but Texas Tech going into what Tempe or Tucson,
Hmm.
excuse me, and really taking it to Arizona. I mean, this is just a wild conference. I mean, right
Hmm.
now there's what five or six teams undefeated in the conference, still two undefeated overall with Iowa State and BYU, and then several one-loss teams. I mean, we're not gonna know who's gonna be the Big 12 title game until after the final week of the season. I'm convinced of that. Like it's just wild.
No, yeah, that's going to be just a mess
Yeah,
going forward.
wild.
Yeah, it's great though. We kind of
I mean,
talked about that over the
it's
summer.
epic. I mean, it's great football. I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
it's a very even conference. It's going to be crazy.
and then
Um,
talk about that. I mean, and then a team like Houston putting 30 on TCU
hmm.
in Fort Worth. Not that TCU is a great team this year, but this is a bad Houston team, and able to put up 30, get the big win on Friday night.
Hmm.
I mean, that's crazy in itself.
Yeah, good for them. Let's see elsewhere around the country. Florida, good win for them.
Yeah,
UCF, and they really dominated. They were at 24
they
nothing at
did.
halftime.
They
Didn't score in the
did.
second half, but they held on.
They,
Uh,
yeah.
good
I
win.
mean, they had to feel a little disrespected. I mean, considering
Hmm.
they're still Florida, and for UCF to be coming off that big loss at home to Colorado, and still Vegas had them as the favorite going into that game is a little crazy
Yeah.
when you look at that. It's still Florida, so yeah, good win for them. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously UCF's taking them doesn't look as good, but Florida definitely needed that win because
Hmm.
I mean they already have enough. I mean they've already had enough struggles, already lost to Miami. I mean, they didn't need to lose to a uh, another, I still consider the
Florida
mid
team. Yeah.
major. Yeah, I mean, now, of course, they're Power Four now, but I mean, I still consider them more, and I know Florida fans consider them more of a mid major. You can't lose to UCF.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that would have been Billy's end. I mean, he's looking like he's probably in the end, but he lives to see another week there. So, and now he goes to Knoxville to face and I
Mm.
mean, that's a team that they shocked them last year. And you never
Hmm.
know with that game just because Florida finds a way to win that game no matter what their season looks like. So,
Yeah.
so that'll be interesting. But
Yeah. Let's see elsewhere. You mentioned Pitt staying unbeaten, 5-0. Duke dropped
mhm,
from the ranks of the unbeaten by Georgia Tech. Big fourth quarter there for the Yellow Jackets.
it was.
Yeah, good for them. Um, uh, yeah, I'm trying to think of just interesting scores. Tulane just beat the ever living hell out of UAB, 71
Yeah,
to
they did.
20. Trenton Dilfer, not a very popular man in Birmingham right
No,
now.
he's not at all.
Uh,
He talks so much trash about the program that
mm,
you. I mean,
yeah,
obviously he has to be on the way out. He doesn't like it. No one likes him there. Like it's time to probably make that move.
yeah. Um, Rutgers dropped from the ranks of the unbeaten by Nebraska.
It was ugly. I didn't see that game at all, but 14-7. I mean, obviously, it had to have been a slobber knocker. I mean, physical. And that's the thing. Outside of the like Ohio State and Oregon, I mean, the Big Ten is really Big Tening it up as far as they're getting to the old school Big Ten. Everybody,
Yeah,
like
uh, they are really going at it. And speaking of Big Ten, as we look real quick to next week, big one.
mm,
Ohio State visits Oregon. Number two versus number three. Uh,
I mean, that's an interesting one. I mean, in Eugene. I mean, the crowd is gonna be ready.
excuse me.
I mean, It starts in the afternoon there, but I mean it'll end at night. So Eugene at night's
Yeah,
always a tough one. Um, but Ohio State comes in as the slight favorite. I mean, anytime you go on into Eugene as a favorite, I mean that's on my that raises my eyebrows. But I mean, you would have to think. I mean, these two seem to be head and shoulders above the rest of the Big Ten. Um, no disrespect to even undefeated uh, Hoosier team there. I mean, the first team to get bowl eligibility is 6-0. But yeah, but anyway, I mean, you would have to think we're gonna see this game twice unless other things happen. But I expect to see, um, Oregon and Ohio State again in December.
yeah.
Honestly,
Should be a fun one.
yeah.
Another big one, Ole Miss, number 9, at number 13, LSU.
Hmm.
Always a fun rivalry. Ole Miss slightly favored. They rediscovered their mojo at
They
South
did.
Carolina this week.
That was impressive because I mean
Hmm.
I didn't know what to expect really. Because I mean, obviously, I mean going into that game, I mean we how was South Carolina, how are they going to come into that game? I mean, you
Hmm.
still think that they should have been undefeated going into that game.
Hmm.
But man, they got housed at home. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but I really, because after Kentucky, I mean, Ole Miss is on a thin line now. But now that, that looks much better going into the, but, of course, a night game in Death Valley is always a tough spot for most teams. So we'll see how that goes
Yeah.
for them.
Um,
But I would expect a shootout. I would
hmm.
think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Um,
Last year was epic, so we'll see what this year brings.
yeah. Yeah. Last year was insane. Um, Red River next week. Red River
Yeah,
shootout, Texas and Oklahoma.
I don't
Texas, of
know.
course, heavily favored, but Oklahoma did
No,
get that emotional win over Auburn last week. Off
had the
this week,
bye week,
yeah, it's a time to prepare for it.
kind of slow down a little bit and
Yeah,
get their. Yeah, so it'll be interesting, but it's one of those games. I mean, teams that you expect
and
to
you just
dominate never
this
know
is
in this one.
exactly this one. You just never know what the hell happened. Like Texas win or Texas loses next week. Everyone, not people will raise their eyebrows and look, but it won't be shocking. It'll just be like,
No, because that's just
Red
how
River.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just how that game has gone. Yeah, but I mean, you would have to think Texas should win that game, but yeah, we don't
Should
know.
win just because Oklahoma, you would think they just couldn't keep up with
No, they can't.
them
I
on
mean, they're
offense, and their defense would
no,
have to. And their defense has played well this year, but they would
yeah,
have to
they
play
played well.
a
They're
perfect
gonna
game.
have, they're definitely gonna have to force some turnovers and put their
Oh,
offense in good
absolutely.
spots, or get a pick six or big fumble, something, because that offense has a lot of work ahead of itself. They're you know, probably shouldn't have won on the plains. And looked out, that offense was terrible against Tennessee. So it's always a fun game, but yeah, I mean, going into it, you'd have to think it'd be it'd be as big a rivalry was, it'd be a bad loss for Texas, at least going into this
Oh,
game.
absolutely. Yeah, they're favored by 2 scores.
Yeah,
They absolutely should, at least
yeah,
pull away in the second half.
absolutely.
Let's see other big games next week, real quick. Penn State visits USC. Flies across the country. Classic matchup
Interesting,
of brands. Yeah,
Rose
you
Bowl
will see
feel
how
to it.
exactly. Yeah, you will see how USC responds to their
Uh,
bad start to the Big Ten.
uh,
And Penn State, we'll see. It's a good
they
it's a
have to
good
win
lit.
it. They
Yeah,
have to win
it's
this game. I mean,
yeah, it's a good litmus test for them to see how
yeah,
serious we should take them.
yeah.
Um,
I read something like they're the only team that started last 4 seasons 5-0. I mean, we know how things always end for them, but
yeah,
in the
exactly.
sense they start off the season hot every year, 4 years of 5-0 starts. But we know how that goes in those type of game. And honestly, this is the type of game that James Franklin loses. just because it's something different. But if they want to show that they want to show they're a real team, they go out and they house USC because that USC, that offense is not what we anybody expected. I don't think defense is somewhat improved, but yeah, if Penn State, if they have any struggles, yikes, I would say.
Yeah,
No. That cross
that's
country
another
trip is always a
tricky,
tough
always
thing
tricky.
because I mean that's what on near 2,000 miles of traveling. But
But yeah, if they lose that one, that's another. You hear the fan base start to kind of moan, and
yeah,
you hear rumblings and stuff.
yeah, it's not it's not a good year to you even on the road to lose to this Trojan team.
No, a couple other interesting games down there. Vanderbilt, their next game, they go to Lexington, Kentucky. Now,
Mm.
now we kind of see how serious Vanderbilt is about making a
And
bowl
see how
this year.
Kentucky is too, though. Because I
Exactly.
mean,
Yeah.
this is a
See how.
Kentucky team that you know. I still don't know how they got housed by South. I didn't see much of that game, but based off seeing Kentucky against Georgia and Kentucky against Ole Miss, I don't know how they got housed by South Carolina. That's
Mm-mm,
just
mm.
wild. Because I mean, but that should be a fun game. But it'd be interesting to see how Vandy continues on. Because I mean, they have the obviously have the talent level to do so, but some teams after they pull off the big Bama win, things kind of fall off a little bit.
Yeah.
So
And
we'll
then the
see.
last one that I think is interesting. Kansas State travels to Colorado.
Mm.
There's a lot of folks that believe Colorado should probably be ranked. 4-1 start to their season. Of course, that
Yeah,
last time we saw them, they're beating the hell out of UCF in
yeah. And
Orlando.
Orlando, yeah,
Now they get Kansas State at home. A
mm.
conference favorite, and again, this
Yeah,
is we're we're starting to see how serious teams are now. Because now we're going to
right.
see how serious we should take Colorado about
Hmm.
maybe contending for the Big 12, or at least
Right.
to get into a bowl, or
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
making some improvement over last year.
Because I mean,
Um,
if they win, so I mean, if they win against Kansas State, I mean, they're already better than what they were, when they won four
last
last
year.
year. So,
Mhm.
and I've already topped that, and and yeah, it should be a fun one. But the interesting thing is, the big thing is that Colorado's defense is the issue. But the last two outings, I mean, the Colorado defense has held their own. So,
Yeah,
a
they've
good,
made plays. They made the
yeah,
play at the end. Travis Hunter made the play at the end of the Baylor game, and they played really well. They held the Gus Bus in check.
yeah.
Slash the tires on the Gus
And
Bus.
I mean, and before that, they really took it to not a great Colorado State team, but I mean, they really shut down that team. So I mean, this is a big test because I mean, Avery Johnson, we know he's a hell of a running quarterback. So I mean, that's a big test for that defense.
Hmm.
But I would think we might have a shootout on our hands. But the way the Big 12 goes, I don't know what to expect. Hopefully, it's a good game either way. But that's all I can ask for. Just as a outsider looking for something cool to watch.
Yeah,
No
no, that
stake
should
in
be
no stake in the game, but yeah.
fun late night game.
Yeah.
Let's
The
move to the
Big
pros though.
12 is kind of taking over that Pac
That
12
late,
after
yeah,
dark.
it's Big 12 after dark now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to the pros real quick.
Yeah.
NFL uh, game of the day, I guess, had to be my Ravens and the Bengals.
Wow.
Absolutely wild affair. Offense is just throwing haymakers at each other. Defense has made a couple plays here and there.
Hmm.
But this is, Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson, and Lamar won in the end,
That
41 to
last
38
touchdown.
overtime.
My
Oh yeah,
goodness.
just an absolutely crazy, like only Lamar Jackson type play. Just fumbling the snap, getting on his knees to get it, getting back up, stiff arming that dude for like 10 yards,
Yeah.
just running down the field. Finally gets him off as he runs toward the sideline, throws just a perfect pass to Isaiah Likely, who makes a great catch too. Like
My goodness.
just an
Ridiculous.
Absolutely amazing play.
He's the
Uh,
only guy that's making that play,
yeah,
and that's
Marlon
why.
Humphrey. Yeah, Joe Burrow carved up the Ravens secondary all day. You know, he
Yeah,
finished with 392 and 5 touchdowns. Um,
yeah,
but Marlon Humphrey gets a big pick late. The Ravens, Justin Tucker makes a long field goal. Ravens fans can breathe a sigh of relief. He's still
Mhm.
great. Uh,
Yeah,
to tie it up, they go to overtime. Lamar then though fumbles a snap. Oh, and you're going, oh no. Bengals got it, and then they miss a field goal. McPherson. Uh, Ravens get it
yeah.
back. Derrick Henry just looking as great as ever. Rumbles like what 50-some yard run down to the 3
Jeez.
or something. Justin Tucker
Yeah,
comes in, ends that ball game. Um, third straight for the Ravens. They're looking great. Bengals 1-4 now.
yeah.
That's bad for. That's
But
tough.
yeah, I mean that's tough. But I mean, two epic games though. I mean, against the Chiefs and the Ravens. I mean, both losses. I mean, and there's no
Mhm.
definitely no moral victory, especially in pro football. But
Yeah.
I mean, there. I mean that. Yeah, but that's a tough spot to be at for them. Derrick Henry with well over 10,000 career rushing yards now. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. 10,000 rushing yards and got his 100th TD today as well.
Yeah. And that's
So
if you look at that list, I saw the list somewhere of people that have done that. I mean, it's a pretty exclusive list that he's
oh,
on
it's
with that.
very exclusive. Yeah, I think I had it.
I saw it earlier. I
I
forget where
think
I
I
saw
if
it.
I can find it real quick, I know I had shared it with um in a group text with some friends here. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a hell of a list.
Let's see. I know somewhere I shared it here. Let me look. But yeah, great game. Just absolutely crazy. Uh, crazy game. Here it is. Huge win for the Ravens.
Yeah, since
Derrick
that.
Henry joined the club with, this doesn't even say it. Just says four of the five players to do it are already in the Hall of Fame. The other one, Adrian Peterson, will be there shortly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I gotta find that list. But anyway, a great game we just saw the end of. Your Cowboys get a big
Oh
win
man.
in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Um, last second touchdown,
Man.
fourth and goal.
Yeah.
Come
That's
from
a big
a
win. It's a
yeah.
big win. I mean, all the injuries on the defensive side. I mean, and not just anybody on the defensive side. Literally, Micah Parsons, Demarcus Lawrence. We lost another defensive lineman tonight. I mean, it's thin on that defensive side. I mean, against the Pittsburgh team that's look good. I mean, on the road, and Dak actually finished the drive and got the win. Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
I
After
mean,
a couple bad turnovers
yeah.
earlier in the game.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's all I can really ask for at this point. I mean, they competed, went on the road, got a win. Because I mean, the last before that, I mean, it's looked pretty dicey to start the season. After that dominating win against the bad Cleveland team, it really showed no. I mean, that we shouldn't have been a barometer of where we were at all because we've seen that they're terrible. But anyway, yeah. But they're a big win. They're probably definitely the best win of the season for sure. So I mean, you gotta feel good anytime you can go into Pittsburgh and get a win.
Absolutely, yeah, and huge one too for y'all to get back above 500. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I'll take that win as a Ravens fan too, knocking the Steelers back to 3-2.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and kind of interesting day going on in the NFL. The Vikings stayed unbeaten this morning in
They
London.
did.
Um,
Sam
beat the
Darnold
Jets.
continues.
Yes, looks great, man. Um,
And then, got revenge on the team that drafted him, and everybody said, oh, he's done. I mean, that's a story in itself. But man, Aaron Rodgers looked bad. I mean,
yeah,
what he had, what, three picks? I mean, he had two touchdowns, three picks. I mean, 29 to 54 passing. I mean, it's not even, that's not even 50%.
hmm
Yikes. I mean, I mean, as much as the hype with them going to the Jets, I mean, it hasn't. I know there was last year they missed, and that may have been the year that it would have worked. But I mean, things just haven't really started off smoothly there. I mean, the ugly loss last week, this losing this week to you know, a good Vikings team, but I mean, a bad loss for the Jets. I mean, they're 2-3. And there was a lot of hype for them coming into the season.
Yeah, and Rodgers just has not really looked great this season.
No, at
Um,
all. But I mean,
let's see. The Jaguars got their first win.
first one finally, huh?
Yeah.
Against
Yeah,
the Colts.
finally,
Yeah,
exactly against the Colts, so a division win, so big for them. And the offense, 37 points. Trevor
37.
Lawrence 371, 2 touchdowns. Tank Bigsby running for over 101 yards. So the offense finally showing up. There'd been a little
Yeah,
bit of kind of whispers like is Lawrence a bust? And
yeah,
so so they see if they rebound and go on a streak or something here.
right. But I mean,
Uh,
yeah, I mean, on the other end, I mean, old Joe Flacco,
man,
359, 3 touchdowns, 33 and 44 on the day. I mean,
had that
my
scramble
goodness.
where I saw he hit like 18 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, old man Joe, the ageless
Just a
wonder.
sec, second win there, man.
Uh,
We saw what he did in Cleveland last year, and man, it's just wild.
yeah, uh, yeah, you mentioned 33 or 44, 359, 3 touchdowns himself. So
No picks.
no
Big
picks.
day.
Yeah, he's uh, throwing some deep bombs too.
There you go.
Vintage Flacco there. Um, Bills lose again. They lose at Houston. Walk off field goal there for the
Yeah.
Texans. Uh, Big win for them. 49ers lost
Now,
again, 2-3.
yeah, that's a
And
tough loss.
yeah, and you start to wonder: is this just because Christian McCaffrey's gone? Do they, once he comes in, do they start kind of winning again, or is there
Are there bigger
something maybe going
issues?
on there?
Yeah.
Because they all those 23 points they had were in the first half.
Yeah.
Cardinals came back and beat them.
Yeah. That's
Big win for them.
that defense is healthy.
Yeah, and
I
then
mean,
Thursday night we should point out
oh
Kirk
wow.
Cousins, man.
Oh my goodness. 500 plus yards.
509 yards, 4 touchdowns, killing me in fantasy, man. I played against him this week, and
Yeah.
luck,
Dude, in our
he just worked me. I actually did
yeah.
make it close because I have Lamar and a solid team, but
Okay.
man, I
Right.
was sitting there Thursday like, well, I ain't winning fantasy
You
this
know,
week.
in our Alabama Take League,
Oh,
Kurt got me
okay.
over 100 points.
Oh, you got him in our league. Oh man,
Yeah. I'm
nice.
playing
Yeah,
Mal
Lamar.
this week, and
Oh
he
man.
gave me over 130 some points.
Woo.
I still
Yeah.
have to figure out that scoring per se, but just
Oh man, Blaine Duncan had the Alabama take fantasy football league. Some of us takers in there, and then some other folks, friends of Blaine. Uh, Man, I don't know what scoring Blaine. We got punters, and they're putting up like 30 points a game. Blaine,
it's a
he's got
wild
this.
league.
It's a weird, wild league. But
It's
yeah,
fun though.
Lamar got me 100 today too, and I actually
Mhm.
won because my team was trash. But
Nah.
my team's trash in that league. My other league, yeah, I'm good. But today was not a good day because all credit we're
No.
talking Kirk Cousins Thursday night, just going nuts for the
Yeah.
Falcons. They get a big win in overtime.
Yeah.
Uh, they improved to 3-2. A big conference win, division win over the Bucks too is huge. Um, I think that's really Jaden Daniels another great game.
Jaden Daniels is
Mm,
just my goodness.
mhm,
For I mean, it's been some good rookie performances, but he's on a I don't know, he's on a different level right now. I mean,
mhm.
even he had the early pick and kind of looked rookie-ish to start the game, but I mean, Cleveland's not a good team, but I mean,
They are
but
not. Deshaun Watson is not
no,
looking good at
no.
all.
I mean, I understand he's the money there, but man, can we see what what Jameis can do. I mean, it couldn't be any worse, could it? I mean,
Exactly. Yeah. Like, what
the
can you do? Other results, Bears over Panthers, Dolphins over Patriots, whatever.
yeah. Dude,
Broncos three
but
and
like,
two. Our boy Pat
yeah,
Surtain, 100-yard pick six.
yeah. So they blew out the Raiders. 34 points for the for the Broncos is a lot of points compared to what they've done as of late.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
That's a lot of points. And then you know, shocker though, Giants went into Seattle and got a win.
Yeah,
That's
I was like,
wild.
yeah, again,
I'm,
again, not that anybody cares about your fantasy team, hashtag whatever. But
eh,
again, my other league, I had Kenneth Walker, and I was just checking that score on the road today. Like, why the hell is he not getting carries, man? Like, why is Seattle not running the ball against the Giants of
yeah,
all teams?
5 carries, 19 yards on the day.
Yeah, and he had like 7 receptions, 6, 7
Yeah,
receptions, something like that. But
yeah,
still, man, it's the
yeah.
Giants.
What?
Run the
It's the
damn ball.
Giants. They're horrible.
Yeah,
Absolutely
yeah,
trash.
yeah.
One other thing I'd
Run.
like to say about the NFL, I mean, we talked about the Texans winning, but there's no other quarterback other than Josh Allen that's not going to get picked apart being 9-30 on the day. He had an
Oh,
absolutely
yeah.
terrible day. I mean, and no
Terrible
one really,
day.
no one bats an eye.
That's
And
insane.
imagine if like Dak or Lamar had that type of day.
Oh
It's all
man,
over
you
the
would.
place.
Hmm.
You never hear the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a terrible day for Josh Allen.
Yeah, absolutely
At the
horrendous.
Bills, back-to-back losses after their
Yeah,
3-0 start, and not
yeah,
not even close losses. Blown out by the
no,
Ravens last week in prime time, and the Commanders whooped their ass this week.
yeah.
Um, and then of course tomorrow night, Saints and
Should be a
uh,
should be a good game, I
Chiefs.
would think.
Yeah, Monday night. Yeah, we'll see. If the Saints can keep up that offense and see how the Chiefs, adjust without Rasheed Rice.
Hmm.
Of course, a lot of talk. Devontae Adams seems to be on the block. The
Yeah,
Saints are, one of the big teams that could get him because of his relationship with Derek Carr.
yeah, that
Um,
would be interesting.
be huge for them, of
Um,
course. The Jets are another team, but I really don't want him to go there because just the Jets.
I don't think that. Yeah, if I'm Devontae Adams, I don't want to go there. Now last year
Mm-hmm,
maybe, but I mean this is another year older Aaron Rodgers,
mm-hmm.
a 4-year old coming off an Achilles. I don't
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
I
If you're
don't.
watching, I know he's your boy. You played with him, but
I'm not interested.
yeah, it looks like you're looking at it and you're like, mm,
You could send Oakland to do that.
yeah,
Honestly, I mean, but yeah, you'd have to think he's on the move there. But you know, it sounds like he's done in Oakland. I mean, obviously,
yeah. I mean, he's not even playing right. Or they had a bye
no,
this week, right? No, they
I
they
think
they got the
they
crap
pulled
kicked
him.
out of them.
I mean, he didn't.
Yeah,
He got pulled. I mean, they completely pulled him from the thing. I mean, the coach is liking things about he's on. He was liking tweets that he's all on the block there. I
that's right.
mean,
Yeah, and he's
uh,
posting. Of course, the Chiefs are probably going to be in that discussion with all their injuries.
yeah, but
God,
Raiders, that's your
how
rival. Absolutely not.
yeah, you can't do it,
Al,
man. Don't do it. Don't do it to the
Al
rest of the league.
Davis
I
would
mean,
roll over in his grave if you guys made a move like
he
that.
absolutely would, and the rest of the league would just be so pissed off. Like you gave Pat Mahomes, Devontae Adams. What the hell,
Yeah,
man? Um,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
interesting. Devontae on his Instagram tweeted on his Instagram, posted a picture of Edgar Allan Poe, famous poet of
Huh.
the
Hmm.
poem "The Raven." Uh,
Hmm.
it, oof,
Interesting. That'd be
man.
wild.
I mean, I think we got
That
a good
would be.
young core, and I don't know how we make that work money wise,
But
but
that'd be wild.
I would take. Yeah, I was gonna say I would watch Lamar throw to Devontae Adams.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
just go ahead and assume it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna get my hopes up.
Yeah.
So
No, but
if it does,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you're Devontae, man, you got to go somewhere where he's too talented of a dude to go somewhere where he just it's not gonna look good. Like I want
And
to
yeah,
see Devontae when he with a couple years ago with the Packers when he's just lighting the league up. I want to
yeah,
see that wherever he
maybe
goes.
maybe at this point in his career, you kind of want to see him, yeah, like chase a ring, man. Like let's go somewhere where you legit have a
Yeah,
chance
yeah,
to
yeah. But if he went to
except not in
KC,
KC, not in KC.
yeah, not in case. But I mean, if he went to KC, Mahomes and Devontae Adams, that'd be stupid. Lamar and Devontae would be stupid. Like it'd be so much fun to watch just as a football fan. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But
Yeah, I know. Of course, from my time living in New Orleans, I know some Saints fan buddies of mine would absolutely just die. But so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see where that goes. Next week, just real quick, 49ers Seahawks on Thursday. That'll be a fun one. Big game in the
Mhm.
West right there. Commanders and Ravens. All of a sudden, that should be
Mm.
fun, man. Lamar Jackson and a guy that really plays a lot like him.
Yeah,
Um, we'll see. That should be a fun one. Seeing any Bucks and Saints, a big NFC South game
Lions
there.
Cowboys, that'll be fun.
Oh yeah, Lions Cowboys rematch of playoffs last year. So yeah, and
And
then
Ravens Commanders, you had said
yeah, and
would
then
be
Bills
good.
Jets next Monday night, kind of a big AFC East kind of, who can
Yeah,
stop their
yeah.
slide there.
But
Let's
how bad
see.
is
Oh, go ahead.
but how bad is that Sunday night football game next week? Now we're looking at it. Bengals and Giants. My
Oof,
God, I don't even
yeah,
think I gotta watch that.
yeah. It's
Like,
weird. It's one of those. The Bengals might be one of those teams. Like, are they just playing
yeah,
uh down to the level of their competition? Because it seems like, yeah, when they Joe Burrow, it seems like he only has these games in big
and big
time
situations, and
matchups.
then
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and but but even going into the season, that's a bad matchup. NBC, you should be ashamed of yourself. Um,
Hmm.
and I heard they tried to flex out of it and tried to get the. Now there's rumors that they tried to get the Ravens Commanders game, and CBS is like, absolutely not.
Yeah, right. CBS is not a no,
Not
thank you.
going for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I guess we can move on to, let's see, Major League Baseball. The playoffs, of course, started.
That's what started.
Yeah, the wild card rounds. A bunch of sweeps. Tigers, Royals, Padres, all 2-0 sweeps.
Yeah.
Uh, the Mets and Brewers played just a classic 3-game set. The Miracle Mets late win, but or all the division series has started. You got your Yanks are up 1-0 on the Royals.
1-0. Yeah.
Cleveland up 1-0 on Detroit, and the AL, the Dodgers and Padres 1-1. Man, Padres whooped their ass tonight, and that
Yeah,
game was
they
getting
did.
chippy. The fans are throwing balls on the field.
Yeah, they had to stop the game.
Yes, a game
I mean,
delay.
but you like to see that though. I mean, that's obviously two teams that absolutely can't stand each other. So I
I'm
mean,
about
you
to
like
say
to see that.
this is exactly the kind of round that Major League Baseball needs. They're just so bad at that kind of PR and marketing side that they're not going to take advantage
And
of
then
it to get the
yeah,
hype. But I mean, you got look at
no,
these matchups. You got the Yanks and Royals, an old school rivalry.
right.
Um,
Phil's
Guardians and
and Matt,
Guardians and Tigers, a division rivalry. Phils and Mets, those are two teams that do not like each other. Long history.
right?
And then the Padres and Dodgers, absolutely. That's one
Yeah,
of those, like, not only do the teams not like each other, the cities don't like each
cities
other.
don't like each other.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, it's great, great baseball, but yeah, I mean, it's just so tough. I mean, they
Yeah.
don't market well. I mean, you got the NFL going on, you got college football going on. It's just always tough for uh, just a average fan who's not a super baseball to really get hyped. I mean, there's just so much else going on. But yeah, but should be, I would say, four epic division rounds. I mean, I think we're in for some good baseball for sure.
Yeah.
We've already seen it.
Yeah. I'll have to, be hard as a Braves fan. Just
Uh,
good job by
yeah,
them to get into the playoffs, I
get there,
guess.
but
Despite all the injuries, but just to
right.
But the Padres, they're kind of seem on a mission too. So, I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind hopping on that bandwagon. Honestly, actually.
I mean,
Um,
they're. I mean, well, they've been the one World Series I could think of with Tony Gwynn,
yeah, I think that's
but
it. 98. Yeah,
and then they got housed by the
swept.
Yankees.
I was gonna
But
say it's a
yeah,
Yankee sweep, right? Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, they're
Uh,
they're overall the franchise. It just hasn't had much going for them, and yes, I mean,
mhm.
but I mean they get into it though. I mean, that's a fun crowd. So man, they could pull this upset against this Dodgers team that is clearly the favorite. Man, that'd be epic.
Mhm. Um, yeah, yeah, it should be real fun to watch. Like you said,
Because
let's see.
what we don't have in sports enough is good old fashioned hate. Sometimes you just want to see it.
Yeah,
People are way too friendly these days, and
it's
buddies
a
off the
hard thing.
field, and
It's a hard thing to get in pro sports, especially.
yes,
Um,
yeah. So when you
it's
can get
rare.
it,
It's
man,
great.
you
Yeah,
embrace it, love it.
yeah, exactly. It's part of
Too
the
many
fun of
friends these
sports.
days. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You during the whatever the 9 innings, the 60 minutes, whatever you're playing. I don't. Yeah, I don't want to see. Let's see some hate. You can dap up after the whistle blows and the last out,
absolutely.
whatever. You can go have dinner in private. Whatever.
I don't want to
I
see
wanna
you guys joking and having a good time.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, I want to see you jawing at each other.
Yeah.
WNBA also has their playoffs right now. The Liberty
Hmm.
advanced to the finals, knocking out the what two-time defending champ Aces. Right,
That's a big.
big win. Liberty getting some revenge. Number
Hmm.
one seed, of course they are. They await the winner. The
Of the Sun
Lynx
and
and
the Lynx.
Sun, yeah, going to
Tied two to
decisive
two.
game five. Yep, game
Yeah.
five Tuesday.
Sun got the.
Hmm.
Yeah, with that. Yeah. So it should be a good finals. Now they're the WNBA, another tough spot because of course, no matter how you think about it, I mean, obviously Caitlin Clark was what everybody was really into,
Hmm.
and they're in a hard spot right now, just because I mean it's still overall not a great following of just the WNBA in general. I mean they've gotten a lot more eyes on them now with the young talent that's coming in, but I mean going up against college football and the NFL, it's tough. It's
It's
tough.
tough. Yeah, in the baseball playoffs,
Yeah,
it's
I
tough
mean
time, and
it's a tough,
it's
yeah.
weird. You would think maybe they'd want to align the schedule a little more with the
Go,
NBA and kind of get
yeah,
your playoffs in the.
or play during the week.
Hmm. Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're gonna get, you know, some Thursday night football, but I mean Tuesday and Wednesday. I mean, that's gonna be you're going up against baseball. That's your best chance.
Hmm.
Like you can't. I understand you got to keep a certain schedule, but man, no one's beating the NFL. You're not getting. It doesn't matter. Like I'm not. I'm not. I'm gonna do everything I can to avoid that if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think anything else in the world of sports you want to touch on? I think that's everything on
I
my
think
list.
that's about it.
Yeah. Well, all right then. What was good done up real good for you this week?
Done up for me really good. It was one the best week. I'd probably just say, I'm just enjoying the football season, even with our struggles. I mean, just uncertainty every week has been great for just on all sides, college, NFL. I mean, you don't know what you're gonna get every week. We see something crazy. I mean,
Hmm.
this might be the most evenly played. You never know what's gonna happen season on both fronts as I've seen for a while. I mean, it's just been it keeps you guessing, and a terrible year for gambling. Let's say. I mean, it's been a just yeah, but yeah, it's been fun though.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah. We spent mentioned a vacation with my wife's family this week. We went down to the beach. It's
Hmm.
nice, a little off-season beach, man. It's not blistering hot. It's not
Hmm.
crowded. I think we might make this a regular thing every year.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
was it
yeah,
was real nice, relaxing. Like I said yesterday, not fun during that, and we're taking some family photos during it. I'm checking my
Mhm.
phone, sneaking in to watch this game, and just being like, our buddy Pat Barfield. He was in the group text. I mean, he was texting me. I was telling him, "Hey, keep me updated, guys." And, he's
Yeah.
joking. Just keep smiling, TD. Just keep smiling.
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
I was like, it's not easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was nice, nice relaxing. Now we're
Oh
back
yeah,
to
sounds good.
reality. But that's it. As always, folks, thanks for listening. Uh, Make sure you subscribe and give us good ratings and likes and whatever. Follow us on all our social medias. Same Taken On Sports, just like our name on everywhere we are.
Absolutely.
Check out the alabamatake.com for some articles. You can keep up with our Taking Bets column. I don't know if any of us are really doing good. I think we all had a bad week. Uh,
I think I went 2-2,
oh,
but
yeah.
that's not.
You at least get the 500, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
do
no,
not.
I went 2-2, so I mean, I got, I
I'm at
think I
500 for
got
the week.
at
Yeah,
five,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, 500 for the week. I think if I'm thinking right, I think I had a SMU covering the 6.5, and I think I got the
Yeah, you got
Vikings
that. Yeah, you got
NFL, but
those. Yeah, missed on Georgia and Missouri.
I think everybody missed on Georgia. I think everybody had Georgia.
Yeah, let's see. Mallory, rough week. 1-3. She only won. She
One
got the
and three.
Commanders today, but her college,
Yeah.
she had Tennessee,
Yeah,
Georgia,
shit,
and Missouri.
Tennessee. Yeah.
Uh, let's see. I had Georgia. Nope. Oklahoma State. Big nope. Coastal. I got Coastal Carolina.
Nice.
I think I'll have to double check that myself, but
Huh.
I'm pretty sure they covered the 5.5 against Old Dominion. And then I had the Seahawks today, thinking like, oh, Seahawks, they'll take care of the
At
Giants, no
home.
problem.
No
At home,
problem. No big
no
deal. It's the
problem.
Giants
Just
in Seattle. What could go wrong, right? Everything.
killing me. So I'm pretty sure it was an O or a 1-3 week for me. Just because I can't get it going this year.
Yeah.
Uh, after
It's
such a
been a
great
while.
week.
It's
Yeah,
been a
such a
while.
great
It's
one.
been a wild season so far on all fronts. Like
It has,
so.
yeah. Trying to, so hopefully you can get. Hopefully I can catch a groove, at least get back above 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, they did cover. All right, that's good. So one and
That's
three, and
good.
then the last one, Blaine. Let's see how did Blaine do this week. Penn State minus 27.5. Nope.
Mm.
Alabama. Nope.
Nope.
Michigan and Washington under 41.5. Did he get that?
That may have been a go. I'm trying to
Let's see.
think.
You kind of assume it because you have Michigan 27-17. No,
Oh,
did not get it.
not quite.
Yeah, not quite. And then he had the Bears over the Panthers today. The C-4. Yeah, I think that was an easy one. Yeah, he got that.
Yeah, we got that.
So yeah,
So
what
it's
three
amazing
one and
how
threes,
people.
and you're 2-2. Yeah,
That's one thing. People are so. Oh, Andy Dalton had a real big game. Yeah, we've seen how good the last couple of games have been.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah,
But Bryce is the problem, right? Okay.
yeah. No, it's just a
Yeah.
bad franchise right now.
Bad franchise. Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, like
So
I said, folks, you can follow that on the alabamatake.com. You can follow the Alabama Take also on all the social medias at the Alabama Take. Uh, Be sure to listen to all the Alabama Take family of podcasts. As Blaine wrote something, I think, on the social media this week. If you are interested, something a podcast you're thinking about starting, send us a message at the Alabama Take. You can find the contact email. I believe it's just the Alabama Take at gmail.com. Uh, and holler at Blaine. He'll see what if you want to join the Alabama Take family. Uh, but That's it for us this week, folks. Keep it done up real good yourselves out there, Bama fans. Hang in there. It sucks, but we've
Nah,
been worse. We're
yeah.
not, we're not throwing Mark Gillian and Spencer Penton out at quarterback anymore.
My God,
It could
what a
be a
time!
lot. Oh, so I just brought up something for Greg there. Yeah,
Goodness,
it could be worse. Just remember that, Alabama fans. It
man,
could be a lot
we
worse.
literally were calling for Spencer Pennington to be on the field. We were excited when he got that call.
Mm.
That's how bad things were.
And then we were
Playoff.
quickly reminded why we were not
He
excited.
was a baseball player.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah, he was a
boy.
baseball player.
What a
Oh man.
time. What a time.
Yeah. So hang in there, Bama fans.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, folks. We're getting out of here. I'm tired. I've been driving all day.
Yeah.
I need to go to
I
sleep.
bet.
Greg, buddy, I'll see you next week.
Yeah.